Welcome back. In this lesson we're going to do the Junior Cycle 2024 higher level question 2. Okay. So reading for understanding, just quickly looking at the picture, it seems like some sort of a long jump taking place. The table below shows the distances in centimeters jumped by a group of students during a school long jump competition. It is indeed a long jump. Okay, now we can, before we read the table, we can note that 80 to 160 means 80 centimeters or more, but less than 160. Okay, so that'll be larger or equal to 80, but less than 160. That would be that lower interval there. Let's call it I for interval. Let's keep that in mind as we go through the questions. So we have a table of data. We don't know the exact values, but we know that two of them, for instance, are between 80 up to 160, but not including 160. 7 are between are 160 or greater and less than 240, etc. So let's go on and answer. So we understand the situation. Now let's go on and answer the questions. Work out the number of students who jumped less than 240. Okay, so let's look at the table. This is the 240 cutoff. Okay, so this is up to but not including 240. So let's just encompass the possible values that would meet our criteria, 7, 2 and 0. So the number of students is 0 plus 2 plus 7 equals 9, and we've shown our work, and that's the answer, 9 students. Draw a histogram to show the information in the table. Use the axes and scales below. Excellent. Okay, so you see here up to 80, but there's nothing in it, so I'm not going to draw anything here. There are 2 here, so I have this line here. Now drawing this by hand is perfectly okay. We don't actually need to use the ruler as of yet anyway. We're going up to 7. Okay, I'll drop the ruler there and go like that. We're coming down here. And let's come across freehand. Up to 12 in the 240 to 320 interval. Up to 12. So I'm taking the strategy of keeping my ruler vertical and drawing in the horizontals by hand. This is my hand. Okay, and up to 3 here. Checking carefully that we're coming to 3 and down. Okay, no harm in writing in our actual values. 12 in that interval, 7, 2, 0. Okay, that's our histogram completed. So now I need to be careful to show you both pieces of information. This is the way it will open in your exam. Let's shove the microphone a bit to the right. And we're going out to here, to here. We need to increase the height of the... Okay. So there we are. Work out the maximum number of students who could have jumped more than 200. Now 200, we'll agree, is somewhere in the middle of this, or on our diagram. 200 is here somewhere. So the important thing is that those 7 could have all been at the upper end. Okay, so we're going to count them because we're getting the maximum number. Now, if you wanted the minimum number, you would assume those 7 were at the lower end. So we're going to go with 7, 12 and 3. 7 and 3, friends of 10. Well, let's fill in the numbers. 7 and 12 and 3. We'll use mental maths to compute. 7 and 3 is 10. 10 and 12 is 22 max. Okay. Use mid-interval values to estimate the mean students, the mean distance jumped by the group of students, and give your answer correct to the nearest centimeter. Okay, so we have the formula in the log tables. Try to bring them on screen now if I can find them. Okay, here's statistics and probability on page 33. And we see that for discrete values, we have our formula for the mean, which is add up all the x values, which is a total and divide by n. But for a frequency table, as we're dealing with here, or it's a kind of a frequency table, for the, I'm going to break this down for you. So the mean will be equal to the sum of the frequencies times the mid-interval values. Okay, so they're like mid-interval values all over the sum of f. Okay, which is add up all the frequencies. Well, what does that actually look like? It's quite simple actually, so we'll just learn by doing. So what does that look like? It looks like 0 for this times the mid value, which is 40, which is halfway between 0 and 80. The mid here will be 120. You could calculate it, but you're better off just doing it by inspection. What's halfway between 80 and 160? It's 120. So we're saying 2 times 120, 200 here, 7 times 200, 12 times, I'll just quickly check. I should be going up 80 each time, that's right. So I'll go up to 280 and I'll go up 80 again from there to 360, and I have 3 times 360 all over the total, which is 0 and 2, total of f's 0 and 2 and 7 and 12 and 3. Okay, so I partially bring that on with mental maths. 2 7s 1400, 12 by 280, I'll use my calculator for. And 3 by 360, I think it's 1080, but let's check. 3 by 360, 1080, yes, 1080. Okay, all over 10, 22, and 224. Okay, so, and I just, on reflection, it might have been easier to do this from the very beginning and to put all the numbers into the calculator and let it calculate them all. But this is where we're at now. All over 24. Might end up being a decimal, so I'll go shift approximation to get to see that as a decimal. And I'm going to write down some of the detail, truncate it, and then we look at the detail of give your answer correct to the nearest centimeter. So I'm going to be rounding down, so the answer equals approximately 253 centimeters is the mean that students or competitors jumped. Estimate the median. Yeah, estimate the median, that's the number in the middle, distance jumped, as accurately as you can and show you're working out. Okay, we're back over here looking for the median. Now there are 24 students, we're looking for the 12th student, okay, to find out where are they. Sorry, 24 students. So we're finding the median. So basically, let's say we're working on we want to know where the 12th and 13th students are. Okay, now the 12th and 13th students are both inside in this bracket here. Okay, they're both between 240 and 320. Now we do not know the distribution of them. Okay, but we do know they're in here. Now we've got to be a bit careful because we could assume that they're kind of equally spread out across here, or we could just assume they're in the middle. Strictly speaking, we should be proportionately coming in here, and I will check the marking scheme, but I'd be saying, okay, we need five 4 students. What's 2 and 7? Is 2 and 7 is 9. Well, we need to know where it's position 3 and position 4 is, assuming that they're equally distributed. And position 3 and 4 are a quarter of the way along here. A quarter of 80 is 20, so we're looking at around 260. And I'm just going to estimate 260 because it's taking too long now. 260 centimeters. Estimate of the median, 260 centimeters. Okay. And I'll let the examiner just find my work here. C graph. Okay. That's us done for question 2, and we'll see you in the next one.